Now, national insurance, dull but quite important if you want a state pension, really, is the sort of the headline to this one, because a former actress from Sussex, starred in loads of films that you'll know about, is urging us all to make sure that our national insurance contributions are up to date. She's had a problem with hers. She's only on half the state pension that she thinks she should be at the moment, because HMRC say that she hasn't contributed fully since she started working here in 1968. Just mention a couple of her films. She's been in Love and Death, the Woody Allen comedy, and she was with Robert Redford in The Great Gatsby. So she's got previous. She's not in acting anymore. She's gone into the internet. It's quite fascinating, actually. But she says that she's been led to believe that her national insurance contributions were being made for her on her behalf from her very early career in the UK. So she thought she didn't have a problem.
When I jumped up from just performing in theatre and went on to TV and films, the companies that I was cast for, like Paramount Pictures or Thames Television or the BBC, they all had taken off the amount of money at source, and then they would give the rest of that to my agent, who would take off their commission at source, and then I would get what was left.
Right, Jennie Kreser listening to that. She's a pensions law expert from Silverman, Sherliker. Thank you for joining us, Jenny.
Pleasure, Neil. Good morning.
Good morning. There you are. That must be a great starter at a party. I'm a pensions law expert. How lovely. Excuse me, I'm just going to get a canapé.
Yes, it can be a bit like that.
Right, now look, I think we all know about this, but surely if you assume you're paying into national insurance, then it sort of goes off the radar, doesn't it?
Well, I think that's the unfortunate thing. Most people, if they're employed, they have deductions made by their employer. It happens before they even get their pay packet. I'm not sure how many people actually sort of study their pay slips. They look at the bottom line figure, but I'm not sure that many people sort of check the national insurance element.
So the difficult area is I guess the self-employed, or the people who are working casual jobs.
That's true.
Yeah,
that's true too.
And if you're self-employed, it's your responsibility to pay your national insurance.
It is indeed. It's what's called Class 2 national insurance contributions, and generally speaking, once you've registered as self-employed, the revenue are actually quite good, because I at one time in my life was self-employed, so I speak from bitter experience to some extent. Then they're normally very good at reminding you that your next tranche of contributions are actually due, but that may not happen with everybody. I think the message here is you can find out about your national insurance record, and it's actually quite easy to do. There is a website. Okay. It's a formal website. It's I don't know if you want me to give the link, but I'm more than happy to do so.
Well, yes, well, why not? Let's just do it.
Okay, it's www.gov.uk, then a slash, and then it's check-national-insurance-record. And you can just go on to that, and they're actually remarkably, for a government department, quite helpful. And you can find out about your national insurance record, and you can get a statement online, and it will tell you if you've got a shortfall.
Okay, that's very, very interesting. Now, Jenny, I'm going to ask you a question which you may not like to answer, but I'm going to ask you anyway.
Okay,
now, look, she's had a lot of problems with HMRC. She says very stressful over a number of years that they didn't respond, or they ignored her for 6 months, and it's just rumbled on. In your dealings with HMRC, generally, is it a bit like it's a difficult organisation to get answers from, or not?
It can be, and I'm not going to lie, particularly for members of the public. Their telephone helplines, generally speaking, are not as helpful as they could be or should be. You can be hanging on for at least an hour before you even get your call answered. I suspect, like every department, they've faced some cuts in recent years, and probably, they've had difficulties from that point of view. And we have the most complex tax system, I think, in Europe. There's been a recent report on it, and I'm not a tax expert, not at all. I might be able to bore for England on pensions, but that I'm not necessarily a tax expert, but it's horribly complicated. And of course, things are changing in the pension system. They're changing all the time. And so I don't know how old your actress is, but of course
she's early 70s.
So she would have been born before 1950. You see, her situation to that extent then is even worse, because she's got to have 39 years of national insurance contributions as against 30 years of national insurance contributions for anybody that was born after, I think it's 6th of April 1950. So, poor thing, she's she's probably even in an even worse position.
Right. Okay. I've been onto the website that you've said, and I've started filling the form in. It's actually quite a long form, but I will by the end of this half hour, I will check whether I've got a gap in my national insurance, and
of course you can make up the payments, but you know that's not easy for people as well, of course.
Sure.
But
okay, but it does. Some people obviously rely on a full pension, and you don't get that if you're not fully paid up. Jennie, thank you very much indeed. I will certainly not go for the vol-au-vents when you approach the next party, because you're very interesting. I like that.